you have been waiting for all day. Ask me rather how I know that. I know, because I'm your psyche. Anyway, 21 minutes gone past 12. Today's the 11th day in the month of May, and the early hours of this morning, I'll tell you what happened. Just when I woke up and I was getting into my routine for the day, a couple of thoughts crossed my mind, and I got thinking about my childhood. You know, I had an average childhood, nothing too exciting, nothing too gory, just what you would term normal, for some people. But I also remember something significant. I have an elder brother, and I remember when he came into our lives as, this is your elder brother. He's my stepbrother, elder stepbrother, that is. Having to blend into a relationship, getting to know each other as kids, so now I have an elder brother. I'm no longer number one. I'm no longer the first child. I'm just the first daughter, So that was somewhat awkward for me in a way. But as time went on, the relationship began to smoothen itself out. But what I also noticed that came with was a sense of rivalry, like who is daddy's favorite, who is mommy's favorite. So I always found myself trying to impress my mom or my dad, as against my brother, like, I cleaned the kitchen better, or I did the dishes better, or I did my assignments faster, or I did this better, I did that better. It was a silent kind of, war going on between us. I was probably 5, 6 years old at the time, so that went on for a while. We went on and on with all of that until we grew up, and we just became adults and moved on from there. But early hours of this morning, I was thinking about my childhood, and I remembered certain incidences that made me laugh, made me smile to myself, and it made me think about sibling rivalry and how many of us experience this, not just in childhood but all the way into adulthood. Have you ever heard of brothers fight over property, brother and sister fight over some insignificant thing, sisters fight over some insignificant thing? Have you ever been in a family compound, maybe at the end of the year during Christmas, and you see these people are adults, elderly men who are married with kids, fighting each other because they're brothers over some trivial matters? That's what you call sibling rivalry. And so I thought to have the conversation with you today. Now, for those who may not really understand, sibling rivalry is that competition, that sense of competition or fighting between brothers and sisters. And it's a concern for, almost every parent, for their children, especially where you're in a family where you have more than 2 kids. You always often experience sibling rivalry. It starts when, throughout, childhood, you see your children fighting each other. They're struggling, for biscuits or for space or for, that favorite sport in their parents' hearts. But fortunately, there are lots of things that parents can do to help their kids get along better. But what do you do to help adult siblings get along better? That's the thing. So on this show today, we're going to start a conversation with sibling rivalry, and I'll be asking you a question. How do you resolve conflicts with your brother or your sister? I don't mean as kids, I mean now. You're now an adult. How do you resolve conflicts amongst your siblings? That's the conversation for this hour. Don't go away.
Our freedom depends on our proactive responsibilities.
Let's talk, act, and be about development.
With one voice, our potential is realized. This is your number one news, talk, and sports radio station. 92.3 Nigeria Info. I am listening.
Different ideologies
and different perspectives.
Share your views on the sunny side.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
All right, welcome back to the show. On this hour, we're having a conversation about sibling rivalry. Now, like I said before that, sibling rivalry is competition or fights between brothers and sisters, and it's often a concern for parents, especially when they have two or more kids. But sometimes this also spirals into adulthood, and when you have your adult kids, children in this case, fighting over whatever reason, it's called sibling rivalry. And this is because siblings generally spend more time together during childhood than they do with their parents, and the sibling bond is often complicated, and it's influenced by factors such as parental treatment, a birth order, be you first or second or third born, personality differences, and people and experiences outside the family. And it's particularly intense when children are close in age. If you have an elder brother who's just a year older, or a year and a half, or 2 years older, or a couple of months older, yes, that happens. This also happens as well. Or maybe of the same gender, or where both children are intellectually gifted in the same path. Sibling rivalry can also continue into adulthood, and these relationships between siblings can change drastically over the years. Events such as parents' illness may bring these siblings together or drive them apart. Marriage can also drive siblings apart. So your brother married a girl you don't like, or your brother married or your sister rather married a man you don't like, or your brother's wife did something you don't like, and you didn't like the way your brother handled the matter. Problem has started. Sometimes it's in-law problems that creates the strain between siblings. So because your in-laws did this and your brother did not react the way you expected him to, or your sister did not react the way you expected her to, a rivalry is born, and the strain in relationship is birthed. Now, according to reports, approximately 1/3 of adults describe their relationship with their siblings as rivalrous or distant. And this rivalry we'll talk about often lessens over time, but in some cases they do not. So I want to know, let's talk about this today. How do we tackle sibling rivalry when it rears its ugly head? What do you do? What caused it? How do you handle it? So I'd like that you call in. The show is all about you today. All about you. I want you to call in and answer the question. Are you experiencing any kind of conflict with your brother or sister? Not as children, not in your childhood, but now, today, as adults, full-grown adults. Are you experiencing sibling rivalry? How are you handling it? What caused it? And I want to know what you do in times like that. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0007, or 0817-923-0009. Please call back. That's the female line, by the way, on WhatsApp. It's 0809-030-6416. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Hilary Suka.
Go ahead.
It was a timely one. I just heard you talking about it, and it's the exact situation I'm in right now.
Really? Tell me about it.
Wow. I don't know where to start. It's so terrible. My parents have tried to sort us out, and we've even involved the police and no headway. I happen to be the first child. Since I got married, of course, everybody fell out with my wife. It spilled over into position, and you could be very surprised that everybody turned against me. I have a sibling of 5 people, and 4 siblings. We have 5. They all teamed up against me. My dad called the meeting, tried to sort us out, and you believe it, they descended on my dad still his bias, because he wouldn't take side with them, being that what they are doing is not proper. They said my mom is biased, that they are favoring their first son over every other son. See why? I'm being afflicted in different ways. They say I can't talk as the elderly one. I can't respond. I cannot. So I just keep quiet, and I'm being treated so wrongly. My wife can't take it. She tries to talk. I tell her not to talk. She gets angry at me. I just wonder what one can do, because I've tried the silent treatment. It's not working. Overlooking is not working. When it got to a stage where there was a threat to life, my dad and mom said, okay, go ahead, involve the police, make an entry, let them sign, undertake it. It's still not working. It's difficult to handle. What I resorted to is praying. I'm being insulted carelessly, and everybody says I'm supposed to keep quiet. as the elderly one. I just wonder what one should.
I want to ask a few questions. Why do they not like your wife?
You see, no one is perfect. And somebody coming from another family into your family, of course, will come with her character, lifestyle,
differences.
Yeah. Not expected to be the same. So somehow, they find it difficult to accommodate some things. Of course, my wife did some things that are not proper. They have also done some things to her. What I expected is everybody should understand that this difference coming from different environments would affect us. And we just have to learn to love, accommodate, tolerate the excesses of each other. I'm just lost in the middle because they say I can't control my wife. My wife said I'm keeping quiet with my siblings are misbehaving. Everybody just feels like I ought to do something I'm not doing. Meanwhile, I'm in the middle, coming this one, trying to explain, coming this one, and I'm just lost in the middle.
And being in the middle is not such an interesting place to be, you know.
It's not at all. It's not. The experience I've gone through, that I'm going through now, it has affected my children, their education, everything. It's terrible.
I'm really sorry to hear that. I'm really sorry. So, what are you thinking to do right now?
It's difficult. I've been appealing to my parents too, because my parents took some actions which he's doing it because he's not happy what they are doing to me. It's affecting me, but I have to accommodate it, understanding where the man is coming from. Of course, that has pitched my siblings against him to being that they feel like he's sort of like favoring me. Even this when I had to call my mom and say, look, I love all my siblings equally, and I have nothing against them. And I wish they can rescind their decision, which I will want to discuss on air. So that I'm going to look for a way to see how I can form a synergy and wake up the communion that is supposed to be there. But it's difficult for me because from my wife's end, she finds it difficult to be able to tread the path I want us to tread. She feels like we are supposed to react fire for fire, anything that comes up. And I don't think that way it works. And when I negate her view, she feels like she was complaining, you're the one that is putting me in this fire, you brought me into this rubbish and all that.
I'm really sorry about what you're going through. I hope that someday soon you all can come to a resolution and live in peace.
It's my prayer.
Thank you so much for sharing
your
your story.
I hope to hear other people's opinion. Perhaps I might find solutions.
Right. Thank you so much. All right. Hello, good afternoon.
My sister, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, we are talking about sibling rivalry. This thing you see, the whole cause of sibling rivalry is all about jealousy.
Jealousy?
Even the two children, they do jealous. Everybody jealous. I see a little baby that the mother went and carried another baby. If you see what the baby doing, you will shock. That is how this world is. The only main fact is the heart of men that play. There's one that happened in my house. Yeah. So the younger brother get money before the senior one, and they have about 4 or 5 men and lady. So I think the middle one get money and become educated, and even the senior and the junior. So he want to get married. The mother said that he's supposed to have he's supposed to allow him to choose wife for him. So this man is an educated man. He cannot toss him around. So he knows what he's doing. So what he did was call his mother, try to plead with them. He refused. But the father conceded to the young man idea, and the father assisted the young man. He got married and do wedding and do everything. The mother said, all the children, both the senior one and the junior one and everybody, that nobody should attend the marriage. He says, the cause of this thing is jealousy. And jealousy is embedded in human being. It's just when you are enlightened, you will be able to brush some foolish things that are going inside you.
Yes, I can hear you. I was going to ask you a question. How then do you think that siblings can resolve these conflicts, especially with jealousy?
The only thing that can resolve this, the problem is because you have to be enlightened. Because if enlightened, because when these people I'm telling you the story now, the later on feel that they cannot stop that young man. The young man made progress rapidly, and before you know it, he got babies and all that, and life is going well for him, and the father is supporting him and all that, and things go well for them. And when they find out they can't stop the young man, they have to key into the idea. Today they are all living good. Everybody's okay now. Everything is okay. The family, it's just jealousy. How both little children, they do jealous. That's it. God bless you.
All right. Thank you for sharing. Hello. Good afternoon. Please call back 0817 923 0002, 0817 923 0003, 0817 923 0007, and the female line 0817 923 0009. The WhatsApp number is 0809 030 6416. The question still is, how do you and your siblings resolve conflicts? Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is Prosper calling from Oyibo.
Go ahead, Prosper.
This is a really big matter. Because as I'm talking right now, my family is into it. I happen to be the fourth child. And my father happened to have 3 wives. So the first one died, the second one died, leaving the eldest son, that's my stepbrother, and the other one, stepbrother. And my mom is the last wife. She's alive. My father passed away. And the children of the first wife, they are the last wife, which is the mom. And of the second wife have been in a very big fight to the extent that is a threat of life. I'm talking to you, my eldest brother went to the village about to use the land in the village to build up a house for my mom. The guy there, which he stays in the village, that's the second wife's child, stays in the village. What he did, he called boys, went to the land, sold all the blocks my elder brother had in the village, sold it off, and destroyed everything there. And these things, we have called for family meeting. There is no response. My mom fears that the guy in the village is diabolic. My elder brother also feels that he's diabolic, and they have been very can make peace. I called my own brother also. They said I did the same thing to him. But they went to the village last week and they fought. The eldest brother had an injury. They said he's in the hospital, so I'm talking to you right now.
Wow.
So I just don't know how I can solve this issue. Everybody, my family, from my mom's side, are fighting against the other guy. And that guy had to join hands with the first wife, the son. Yes, they now join hands together and they're fighting my own family. And this is not what I want. This is really going out of hands. I am even thinking if I can get police and arrest both families and see how this gets worked out. I don't know. I am confused here. As I'm talking to you, it's becoming a threat to my family and to me also. Right now, I have to keep away from my brother, keep away from the other person also. I just don't know what to do. I'm in the middle of confusion right now. All I need is peace. It's not working out.
Everyone needs peace, and I'm really sorry you have to go through what you're going through right now. I would suggest that if you can speak to someone of authority, if there's anyone of authority in your family, maybe a spiritual or religious leader or pastor or whatever spiritual authority you have, that would also be an option. Or you can speak to an elderly person in your family that you all respect.
I'm sorry. I went to one of the chiefs in the village. He called the both family for a meeting. None of them attended the meeting. So I don't know. I just don't know. Anyway, thanks very much.
Thank you too for sharing your story. I'm really sorry to hear that. I mean, when you hear things like this, it just brings home the reality of sibling rivalry, that even at a time like this, when there is a lot of enlightenment, when you expect that as times are changing, the world is becoming a global village, we have different priorities now than we did years back, we still have these issues rearing their heads in our families. So in a situation like this, the last caller just clearly described, how would you suggest he handles that situation? He needs peace. Everyone deserves peace. How do you think that he can get that peace? Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Emmanuel from Port Harcourt.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm actually fitting into this environment, and there is something I've noticed from the people I've met, my friends, and I think it's predominant in this environment, and it is chilling in the circle. The reason why I'm calling is to advise, because right now there's not much that can be done right now. There are lots of families that you see them every corner, that are scattered. There's a lot of the polygamous nature of the men, and then it has also made women involved in some diabolic things. Men and women involved in diabolic acts just to sustain their selfish interests. Now, my own advice would be for we young people to ensure that we don't put our children in this kind of jeopardy. It's bad because the man starts life with the family and wife, and then maybe God blesses the family, and all of a sudden a girl from somewhere comes into the family, and then the man starts to have children outside his home. And the moment the man starts to have children outside his home, that's the moment they usually realize themselves. But it's long race, and then there's no remedy. And all of a sudden there's hatred that is created amongst these people that are supposed to be family. You hear from different colors, this one key, this one, that one key. I have a friend that he has lost all his siblings, including his mother, to this kind of institution. I have a cousin in this Port Harcourt. So I see that left, right, my landlord is also a victim. So it's everywhere. I really don't know what can be done to help the situation, but I know that what can be done for the future for our children to come. It's for men to be responsible enough to not allow themselves to be involved in this polygamous nature of giving birth to children.
So you think polygamy encourages sibling rivalry?
Yes. In fact, I think it's one. I can't fight my brother for anything. My brother from the same father, the same mother. I can't fight him for anything. I wouldn't fight him. But the moment there is that gap, it's a different mother, a different father, sentiment is also involved. Sentiment comes in. Selfishness comes in. And that's where it develops into spiritual battles, where you see people killing each other.
All right.
Family members killing each other.
All right, thank you so much.
Fundamentals of it. Thank you.
Thank you too. Thank you very much. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the side. Hello. Okay, that's obviously a wrong number. You can send your messages on WhatsApp 0809-030-6416. The question still is, how do you resolve conflict, between you and your siblings? Have you ever been involved in sibling rivalry? I'm not talking about just disagreements. Everyone has disagreements as long as you're human. Every human has different thinking, perceptions to life and other issues. But when it comes to serious arguments, you just cannot see eye to eye on certain matters, or even on every matter. How do you resolve such conflict between you and your siblings? Hello, good afternoon. All right, please do call back. Remember, we're on Facebook and Twitter. On Twitter at Nigeria Info PH. You can drop your comments on there. On Facebook, we're live at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, this is Frank.
Go ahead.
Okay, as regards to the topic concerning sibling rivalry, I want to bring a little contribution to it as well as at what causes sibling rivalry. And I have had experiences about sibling rivalry, and I've come to realize that most of the times our parents are the major problems we have that causes sibling rivalry. You know, in the case of where a father and a mother will pay a particular attention to a particular child because maybe there is something they are gaining more from the child, and every other person is irrelevant to them. So that also triggers sibling rivalry, where the other siblings will now they start having bad feelings and bad kind of hatred to the other person that much attentions are paid to. So our parents should help us to balance the equation, not because this one is doing more and you feel this person should be paid more attention to, or the person should be seen as more important than every other child. They are all your children, so they should also be treated equally, even though they are not at the same level financially and otherwise to be there for the parents. So they should please help the families to solve these problems, because that is where it starts from. Then another way these problems naturally comes is, like Sigmund Freud said. Sigmund Freud talked about the childbirth, children, the role of children actually in the family. Sigmund Freud talked about how naturally the second born is always a challenge to the always challenges the authority of the first child in the family, because he also wants to have that importance and that authority that the first child has. So that is always what brings this sibling rivalry. Likewise, the second child will always want to want other siblings behind him or her to love him or her more than the first. So that rivalry between the first born and the second born is always coming. So naturally, Sigmund Freud explained this thing, that it is natural. So when this is occur, parents, individuals who at least who have attained some level of education should understand or exposed, should understand that this thing is not supposed to be so, even though it can be controlled. Your elderly one, that is why the Christianity, the Bible we study, God is involved. Because when you have the fear of God, you won't allow anything to make you hate your brother for any reason. Even though your parents are making you see the reasons why you should do that, you understand that this one is your blood. No matter what happens, this one is my blood. I don't have to feel bad. I don't have to hate my brother. Even at the point where your brother is hurting you or your sister is hurting you, you still forgive them as a child of God. So this is where the Word of God helps us to balance things in our families, in our lives.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Go ahead.
So, I'm talking about what the last caller said.
Okay.
The parents have role to play. I remember the scripture, a case in the scripture about Jacob and the members of his family. You remember one of the 12 children of Israel had a dream. And in that dream, he interpreted it that he saw his brothers bowing down to him. That's because the father loved him so much. That is in Joseph. He got a time that the Jacob called Joseph to order and asked him, even me, your father, will I bow down for you too? So parents, if they're seeing certain traits on their children, they should start very early to correct the children. And they shouldn't pay particular attention on one or any of their children so that the others wouldn't be feeling jealous. So it is very important that they start very early at the tender age to start letting them know this one is your elder brother or this one is your elder sister, and they should start teaching them on how to respect each other from small so that when they grow up, they will grow with such a threat that has been built in them, and that will help them to maintain peace. Even though, as a result of imperfection, there might be some misunderstanding, but they will quickly settle it. And also, they will also be watching their parents, the way they are living. If, for instance, the husband and wife are living happily, they are not quarreling, how they quickly settle matters. So that will help them. So the summary is that they shouldn't pay special attention on any case, even though they have their individual differences, they have different qualities. Maybe one might be doing well in this way or the other way. They should carry all of them along.
All right, thank you very much. That was quite interesting. And one of the things that I've gotten from about 2 or 3 callers now is that parents have a role to play in sibling rivalry, you know, especially when you're talking about the causes of sibling rivalry. So you find that it's probably because my mother treats my younger sister better, you know, or, you know, my father treats my younger brother better. That is why I have somewhat kind of cold feet towards my brother or my sister. So you find that parents actually have a role to play in how deep sibling rivalry goes. We're going to talk about some ways that people can resolve issues or conflicts between themselves. Some ways that these can be resolved. But we'll take a message on WhatsApp so we can cover all the messages coming in. Ben from Port Harcourt says, hello presenter, sibling rivalry can only be resolved when we know the causes. When the parents tilt towards one of the siblings, the other ones will feel bad towards him. Also, envy on the part of the siblings themselves. There are some who are naturally envious of one another. This can only be resolved by showing love and leaving it. With love, everyone will accommodate one another, he says. Thank you, Ben. And this message here says, from my own observation, sibling rivalry or conflict is common in this part of the country. Over there in the north, one man will have more than 2 wives, and yet the children would have strong love among themselves. Are women are the cause of conflicts in polygamous homes, while jealousy and greed are the cause of this conflict between siblings? But love is the solution, he says. Let's head on out to Facebook where Genyi and that says, no resolve up until now. Myself and my brother can't follow the same path. That's quite sad. Anyway, let's quickly take a look at some of the things that you can do to resolve conflicts between yourself and your brother or sister. One way you can resolve conflict is don't take it personally. Whatever it is that they might have done or are doing, if you try not to take it personally, you'd find that you help the anger or the pain or the bitterness better. Understand that your parents may not necessarily love that other sibling more. They just perhaps feel closer to them or are more invested in their lives for whatever reason, and may not even be aware of your feelings. No parent to want to hurt your feelings. So if you're in a position where you have conflicts with your sibling because your parents has been showing more love to them, don't take it personally. If they are actively trying to punish you or hurt you, you know, it's their loss, not yours. Another way you can deal with sibling rivalry is find support elsewhere in your life. Look away from your siblings and your family. Find supportive people in your life to provide the love, the acceptance, the approval that you may not necessarily get in your parents or in your siblings. So if you're having conflicts with your brothers and sisters for whatever reason, like some people have already shared on the show today, maybe you have great friends, turn your focus to them. Pay more attention to the positive energy you're getting from there and let that hold you on. Because the truth is, you can't really change people. You can only influence them. So if you're being yourself, avoiding trouble, and not buying into the conflict, with time, that influence will rub off on them. And hopefully, I say hopefully because it's not always the case, hopefully something positive comes out of there. I'll share a few more ways that you can help resolve conflicts, but let's quickly take 1 or 2 more calls. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, thank God I was able to reach you guys. Please, I want to remain anonymous. I'm calling from BNT in Port Harcourt.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, most of the callers are right, you know, in the aspect of where most times this sibling rivalry comes from parents. up, maybe some parents can show more love to a particular sibling ahead of the other one, maybe because this one is more intelligent in school, or this one is more smarter, and all that. But another aspect we need to look at is the rivalry that comes later. That one is much more, much more bad than the one that comes in the young age, because sometimes the parents could be able to address that one and correct it, so that when they grow, that one might have been sorted out. But like for instance, when they start getting married, when women start coming in, for instance now, the music though we know of, maybe I don't know that I should mention their name.
No need mentioning their names, just go ahead.
Yeah. That I told somebody just a couple of days ago, do you know that if they were still single, they would have sorted out whatever problem they had and still be performing as they do. But because they are married, yeah, they do come on social media and tell their wives are not involved in whatever they are going to and all that. But if you really dig this, they might be lying. So sometimes another thing that could really cause this sibling is when wives start coming in, even when husbands start coming. You notice that the two sisters might be in competition. Everyone will say, this person's husband bought her this type of car. Why can't you buy me this type of car? And they start having that, So another thing is when people start, when you start bringing in external body too, like I have an issue with my brother, I start discussing it with a third party. It's also not good. When you have an issue, try to sort it out, look for ways that you know that this is what your brother, because you know your sibling from birth. All those outsiders you're talking to don't know your sibling more than you. So look for a way to get close to that your sibling. Know what he or she like, and maybe with that you can resolve it.
Thank you very much for sharing. We'll take just one more way, because we're out of time right now. How you can handle sibling rivalry if you're in conflict with your brothers or sisters right now. If you're in that situation, if I didn't take your message or your comments on our social platforms, I really apologize for that, because our time is up. But I'll quickly say, one thing you can also do is accept the reality of the situation. I mean, for two callers right now who have shared your story, almost seeming like I've tried everything I can do and I don't know what else to do. You can accept the reality of the situation, and you would also feel better if you accept that you may not get as much support as you're looking for. You may not get that, that kind of relationship you're looking for with your siblings or with your wife, your partner, wife or husband, and your siblings and your family. And if you don't come at them from a place of need, you would actually have more personal power. It may be difficult to get into this frame of thought, I know, but you'll feel better after you do. So try accept the reality of the situation. Try say, you know what, this is beyond me, and it's okay to be beyond me. I accept that my father will never like my wife, or my brothers will never get in good terms with myself or my wife or my husband. I accept that my in-laws will never like me for who I am. It's okay. I accept that, and I will relate to them based on that knowledge. You would feel much better, because sometimes in life we can't really control certain situations that we encounter. Many times we cannot control what we go through. We just accept them and keep moving, and time will sort everything out. It's 1 o'clock, time for the news update. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. I'll be back at 2 o'clock for Architect's World. Don't go away.